Sophie, I want to walk into today's episode with a moment, a very quick one, but a very expensive one, because this three-word moment has probably cost more advanced English professionals more career opportunities than almost any other habit we could name.
Okay, walk us in.
You are in a meeting. A senior person turns to you, asks you a direct question, maybe about a project detail, maybe about a data point, maybe about a client update. And in that moment, you genuinely do not have the answer. So you say the three words that seem the most honest thing to say. I don't know. And you think you have just been professional, honest, transparent, not pretending to know something you do not know, which in your native language would probably have been a perfectly acceptable answer.
But in English professional culture, especially in native speaker environments, those three words landed differently than you realized. Around the table, several small impressions just formed. The senior person made a small mental note. The colleague next to you looked down, and a tiny piece of your professional standing, invisible to you, just eroded.
And here is what almost no advanced English learner is ever told. In modern native English professional culture, a bare "I don't know" is one of the most credibility-damaging phrases you can deploy. Not because it is dishonest, but because it stops the conversation dead. It provides no path forward, no commitment to find the answer, no demonstration of engagement with the question. It just closes a door and stands there.
And the assumption listeners quietly make is one of three things. Either you did not prepare properly, or you are not engaged with the work, or you do not want to think about it right now. And none of those assumptions are what you meant to signal, but they are what you accidentally sent.
And today, we are going to change this pattern forever. We are going to explain why "I don't know" reads as unprepared or disengaged in native professional English. We are going to identify the 4 different things you might actually mean when you feel the urge to say it. And we are going to give you 6 specific replacement phrases native executives use to handle these exact moments with authority and grace.
Welcome to Side by Side English Podcasts. I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark. Today is for the B2 or C1 professional who has been dropping "I don't know" into meetings for years, believing they were being honest, and who has been quietly paying a professional price for it without ever knowing why.
Stay with us. We have the credibility mechanics explained, the 4 types of "I don't know" you might actually mean, the 6 replacement phrases native executives use, the real-time deployment rule, a role play showing the difference in the same meeting moment, and a word tour with 6 brand new B2 to C1 words.
Quick comment question before we begin. Be honest. How many times this month have you said "I don't know" in a work meeting? Drop the number.
Okay, let's rescue your credibility.
So Sophie, let's start with the mechanics. Why does a simple "I don't know" damage professional credibility so much in native English cultures?
Because native professional English culture prizes what we might call the forward motion of thought. Every response in a professional conversation is expected to advance the discussion, to offer something, to create a next step. Even a no is usually expected to come with a path forward. No, but here is what I could do instead.
And a bare "I don't know" does the opposite. It halts the forward motion, it creates a small dead end in the middle of the conversation, and the person who asked the question is left holding the same question they came with, which subtly puts the responsibility of moving the conversation forward back onto them, which in senior professional dynamics is almost the opposite of what you want to signal.
And the second reason is even more important. Native professional English culture deeply values expressed engagement, not just being engaged inside your head, being visibly engaged in your response. When you say "I don't know," you provide no evidence that you have engaged with the question, no demonstration that you have thought about it, no visible reaching for what might be true.
So even when your intent was to be honest, the phrase communicates disengagement, and listeners cannot see the difference between honest disengagement and any other kind of disengagement, so they default to reading it as lack of preparation or lack of investment.
And once you understand these 2 mechanics, forward motion and expressed engagement, the fix becomes clear. The replacement phrases we are going to teach you all do one or both of these things. They preserve forward motion, they demonstrate engagement, and they land dramatically better than the honest but flat "I don't know."
Let's first identify what you might actually mean when you feel the urge to say, I don't know. Because this phrase is a lazy container. It packages together 4 completely different situations under a single label, and knowing which situation you're in tells you which replacement to reach for.
Yes, 4 types.
Type 1. I have the information somewhere, but not right now.
This is the most common one. You know where the answer lives. It's in a spreadsheet, in an email, in your notes, but it's not in your head at this precise moment. I don't know massively undersells the actual situation because you do have access to the answer. You just need to fetch it.
Type 2. I have never looked into this yet.
This is different. The information is not yours to lose or forget. It simply hasn't been part of your work. Someone is asking you about a domain you haven't investigated, and I don't know makes it sound like a personal knowledge gap, when really it's a scope issue.
Type 3. I have partial information, but I'm uncertain.
This is the trickiest one. You have some sense of the answer, but not enough confidence to state it firmly. And in this case, I don't know is actually a lie of omission because you do know something. You just don't know enough to be fully confident.
Type 4. The question doesn't have a definitive answer yet, but here's what we know so far.
This one is the most sophisticated. The question is genuinely open. Nobody in the room could give a clean answer, and I don't know gets read as personal ignorance, when really it should be framed as an inherent uncertainty in the situation itself.
4 types, and each one deserves its own replacement phrase, because pocketing all 4 under the same 3 words doesn't serve you in any of them.
Which brings us to the 6 replacement phrases. Native executives use these exact patterns constantly. Let's walk through them.
Phrase 1. Let me look into that and get back to you by end of day.
This one is perfect for type 1 situations, when you know the answer exists and you just need to fetch it. It preserves forward motion by naming a specific time frame, it demonstrates engagement by taking ownership of the retrieval, and it signals reliability by committing to a deadline, all in one phrase.
Phrase 2. I want to double-check the numbers before I give you a definitive answer.
This one is excellent for type 3 situations, when you have partial information but want to verify. It signals thoroughness. It positions you as someone who values accuracy over speed, and it subtly elevates your professional standing because deliberate verification is a trait of senior operators.
Phrase 3. That's outside what I've been tracking, but I can find out who owns that.
This one is designed for type 2 situations, when the question is outside your scope. It clarifies the boundary without sounding defensive. It offers a path forward by connecting the asker to the right person, and it demonstrates organizational awareness, which is a quiet marker of professional maturity.
Phrase 4. My best read at the moment is X, but let me confirm before we act on it.
This one is another excellent option for type 3 situations. It lets you share your partial information, it flags the uncertainty transparently, and it protects the group from acting on unverified data, which is exactly what senior people are expected to do.
Phrase 5. That's a great question. Let me think about it and come back with a real answer.
This one is a universal safety net. It works in almost any situation where you feel the urge to say, I don't know, and can't quickly identify which type you're in. It buys you time, it signals that you take the question seriously, and it commits to returning with substance.
Phrase 6. There isn't a clean answer to that yet, but here's what we know so far.
This one is the perfect fit for type 4 situations when the question genuinely does not have a clean answer. It reframes the uncertainty as inherent to the situation, not to your knowledge. And by adding here's what we know so far, you preserve forward motion by contributing what is currently available.
6 phrases, 6 specific tools for 6 specific moments, and every one of them replaces the credibility-damaging I don't know, but something that actively builds your standing instead.
And here is the real-time deployment rule, the one small habit that makes all of this work in practice.
Tell us.
Before you speak in any professional conversation, if you feel the urge to say, I don't know, pause for 2 seconds. In those 2 seconds, silently ask yourself which of the 4 types this situation actually is. Type 1, information somewhere. Type 2, outside my scope. Type 3, partial and uncertain. Type 4, no clean answer exists yet. Once you know the type, the right replacement phrase is easy to reach for.
2 seconds of typing. then deployment of the right phrase. And over months, this stops being a conscious process and becomes automatic. You never say, "I don't know," again in a professional setting, not because you are pretending to know things, because you have better tools for every situation where "I don't know" used to come out.
Okay, let's do a role play. Sophie, set the scene. I'll set it. Team meeting. A director turns to our speaker and asks what is the current conversion rate on the new landing page.
Version 1. The bare "I don't know." I don't know.
And in that 3-word moment, several tiny things happen around the table. The director makes a small note. The room registers a small disengagement. And the person who asked the question is now stuck holding the same question. And the next time they need a data point on that landing page, they will probably ask someone else.
Version 2. Same speaker, same knowledge state. 2 completely different professional impressions created by the difference between a lazy 3-word admission and a deliberately chosen replacement phrase, available to every learner listening to this episode, starting today.
Word tour?
Word tour. First word, credibility. Credibility is the quality of being believed and trusted. In professional life, credibility is what makes your ideas taken seriously. Every response you give in a meeting either builds or damages your credibility. And "I don't know" is one of the most efficient credibility drainers in the modern workplace.
For example, every time you drop a bare "I don't know" in a meeting, you make a small withdrawal from your credibility account. Repeat, credibility.
Credibility.
Next, definitive. Definitive means final, conclusive, not open to further doubt. Executives value definitive answers because guesses are bad, because everyone in the room needs to know whether they are receiving a firm answer or a working guess.
For example, when you say, "Let me confirm before I give you a definitive answer," you are signaling that you understand the difference between a firm answer and a rough one. Repeat, definitive.
Definitive.
Next, to flag. In professional English, to flag something means to mark it, to raise attention to it, especially so that people can act on it appropriately. Flagging an uncertainty is one of the most sophisticated professional moves you can make.
For example, instead of hiding your uncertainty, flag it directly, and the room will trust you more, not less. Repeat, flag.
Flag.
Next, ownership. Ownership in a corporate context means taking full responsibility for something, not just being assigned it, actively owning it. And the replacement phrases we shared today all quietly express ownership of the response.
For example, professional credibility grows most when you visibly take ownership of the questions asked of you, even when the answer is not yet available. Repeat, ownership.
Ownership. Next, to convey. To convey means to communicate a specific idea or feeling, especially through the way you phrase or deliver something. And the whole point of today's episode is that "I don't know" conveys something completely different from what you meant to convey.
For example, your response phrases convey more than their words alone, and in native professional culture, they convey credibility or the lack of it. Repeat, convey.
Convey. And finally, poise. Poise is the quality of calm, controlled elegance under pressure. It is one of the most valued professional traits, and the replacement phrases we shared help you respond with poise instead of collapsing into a bare admission of not knowing.
For example, responding to a hard question with poise is often more valuable than knowing the answer, because poise itself signals leadership. Repeat, poise.
Poise. 6 words today. Credibility, definitive, flag, ownership, convey, and poise. Every one of them is a real, useful modern English word that captures something specific about the mechanics of professional communication.
Sophie, one final takeaway, that the honest 3-word answer you have been giving in meetings all these years has not been protecting your integrity, it has been quietly damaging your standing. Because in native professional English culture, "I don't know" does not communicate honesty, it communicates disengagement, lack of preparation, or unwillingness to think, even when your intent was pure.
And a fix is not to lie, not to pretend you know things you do not. The fix is to reach for a phrase that stays honest while also demonstrating engagement and forward motion, which is exactly what every one of the 6 phrases we shared does.
Small challenge before we go. For the next 7 days, remove I don't know from your professional vocabulary completely. If you feel the urge to say it, pause for 2 seconds, identify which of the 4 types you are in, and deploy the matching replacement phrase. Just 7 days. No bare I don't know allowed.
And notice what happens. Notice how many times per week you were about to say it. Notice how the replacement phrases feel in your mouth. Notice how colleagues respond to you differently. Notice whether your credibility in meetings shifts.
Drop a comment after the week. Tell us how many times you almost said, I don't know, and caught yourself. Tell us which replacement phrase you used most. We want to hear the results.
Because the moment a professional replaces this one 3-word habit with these 6 specific phrases, the entire tone of how they are perceived at work starts to shift. Not slowly, immediately. And the credibility that had been quietly leaking away for years starts to rebuild.
I'm Sophie.
I'm Mark. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being willing to look at one of the most invisible career-damaging habits in advanced English.
Retire the phrase, reach for the tool. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.